Welcome to the 309A Electrician Certificate of Qualification, the Last Mile Playbook, tailored for the Ontario edition. This video is designed to help you navigate the final steps of your apprenticeship, finding placement when nobody wants to train you, closing out your hours and logbook, eligibility with Skilled Trades Ontario, booking the exam, prepping for it, exam date, and what changes the day you pass. 8 sections. Skip ahead with the chapter markers if you only need one.
Section 1. The Placement Problem. 8,160 hours of work-based training. That's what your 309A apprenticeship requires before you can even sit the C of Q exam. Saying, go get an apprenticeship to clock those hours is tone-deaf when half the problem is structural. Shops don't want the training cost. Journey persons don't want to give up billable hours to teach. So before we talk about closing out the logbook, let's talk about how you get the hours in the first place. If you don't have placement yet, start with the public resources. Apprenticeshipsearch.com lists employers actively looking. If you're going union, IBEW Local 353's job line is 416-510-3532. Local 586 in Ottawa has a members job line at 1-800-363-6846. Skilled Trades Ontario's employer database lists registered sponsors. Those are the front doors most apprentices know about. Here's what most apprentices don't know. Contractors with active jobs file for permits and win publicly awarded contracts. That data exists. AEC Stack pulls it and surfaces it. A contractor with 5 active electrical permits in your area has work. They may have the capacity to take on an apprentice or to send hours your way through a subtrade arrangement. These are real contractors with real active jobs in the GTA today. You're not guessing who has work. You have a target list. Cold call them. Message them on LinkedIn. Walk into their shop with your resume. Your odds of getting somewhere are much higher than randomly dialing electrical contractors out of a directory. If you already have placement but you're missing exposure your shop doesn't touch, same data, different use. Find shops doing the work you need. Ask your sponsor for a 2 to 4 week loan out arrangement. IBEW members can request short-term dispatch through the local hall to round out exposure. Once you're employed, the intel keeps working for you. Tell your employer about active deal flow, RFPs they should be tracking, permit applications in their lane. You become the apprentice who knows what's happening in the market. That's the apprentice employers keep around, promote, and remember. This isn't a guarantee. Not every cold call lands, but cold calling random contractors is a low percentage move. Cold calling contractors with active permits and a real backlog is a much higher percentage move. Sign up at aecstack.com. The permits and awards data is yours once you're in. Section 2. Hours and logbook. Now the mechanics. 8,160 work-based hours under a registered training agreement. 840 hours of in-school technical training. Standard pace is 5 years. There's a curriculum transition happening through 2026 and 2027. New Level 1 launched September 2024. New Level 2 launched September 2025. New Levels 3 and 4 launched September 2026. If you started before September 2024 and you're finishing your final level before September 2026, you're on the Legacy 3-level curriculum. If you're unsure which curriculum applies to you, phone STO at 647-847-3000 or your training delivery agency. Don't guess. Your logbook is the document that tracks your competencies against the official apprenticeship training standard. Every competency needs a sponsor sign-off. Every subskill needs its own sign-off and a real date, not a month-year stamp, a real date. Push for sign-offs the same week the work is done. Sponsors retire, sponsors sell their business, sponsors stop returning calls. 6 months later, you're chasing signatures from people who don't remember you. The single most preventable problem at the closeout stage is the one where your sponsor signed the master units but missed the individual subskills, and STO comes back asking for completeness. If your subskills are missed, walk the apprenticeship training standard PDF with your sponsor in one sitting. Batch the missing sign-offs. If you're missing a specific exposure, ask your sponsor for the 2 to 4 week loan out we talked about. IBEW members can request short-term dispatch. If hours from a previous employer never made it to STO when you switched sponsors, STO can reissue records. Call 647-847-3000 or 1-855-299-0028 with your apprentice ID ready. If your sponsor has disappeared, whether retired, sold, or unresponsive, STO has a process for confirming hours when the original employer is unreachable. It's slower, it works. The 309A Apprenticeship Training Standard, June 2023 edition, is the source of truth. Pull it up, print it, walk through it with your sponsor. Don't trust your memory, and don't trust your sponsor's memory either.
Section 3. Skilled Trades Ontario Eligibility. Once your hours, subskills, and final school transcript are in, STO reviews everything and issues an eligibility notice. That's your green light to book the exam. What triggers eligibility? All school levels complete and passed. 8,160 work-based hours logged. All competencies signed off in your logbook. Your sponsor's final attestation submitted. From ready to exam eligible is typically 4 to 8 weeks of paperwork lag. Plan around it, not against it. If 4 to 8 weeks turns into 16, call STO directly at 647-847-3000. Have your apprentice ID, your sponsor's business number, and your in-school provider name ready when you call. If STO says they don't have your final school transcript, the bottleneck is your training delivery agency. Call your school's apprenticeship office directly and ask them to push the transcript through. If STO says they don't have your sponsor's final attestation, that's on your sponsor. Chase them in writing with screenshots. Don't try to book the exam without eligibility on file. STO won't release exam slots until your file is flagged ready. Section 4. Booking the exam. When you're eligible, you book through the STO portal at portal.skilledtradesontario.ca. You sign in with My Ontario account. The booking flow: pay the exam fee first. Click Examination, enter your STO ID number. Pick your name and exam type. Indicate accommodation needs if you have them. Choose date, time, and test center. Confirm. You'll get an email with an authorization to test letter. Completed Ontario apprentices get an automatic fee waiver on their first attempt. Rewrites and trade equivalency candidates pay the full $150 plus HST. If you need accommodations, like extended time, a reader, a translator, a screen reader, or an accessible test center, phone STO directly to arrange them. The portal won't capture accommodations. GTA test centers run several weeks out at peak. Rural and northern centers often have slots within a week or two. If your timeline is tight, check the regional centers before locking in the GTA. Don't book before you're ready. Rewrites cost the full fee, plus a mandatory 30-day wait before you can rebook. Section 5. What's on the exam? Approximately 100 multiple-choice questions. Up to 4 hours. Pass mark is 70%. Confirm the exact question count and duration on your authorization to test letter when you receive it. The exam is closed book during the exam itself. The test center supplies an on-screen calculator, scratch paper, and on-screen Ontario Electrical Safety Code excerpts. What you cannot bring: personal calculator, physical OESC codebook, any external reference, prep workbooks, phone, smartwatch. All of those get confiscated at check-in. The Red Seal blueprint is what STO bases the question distribution on. Common occupational skills, 11 questions. Generation, distribution, and supply, 28. Raceways, conductors, and wiring devices, 30. Motors and motor control, 21. Signaling, communication, and alarm systems, 10. Confirm the latest weighting on the 309A trade report linked in the description. The single most tested reference is the 2024 OESC 28th edition, which came into force May 1st, 2025. The 28th edition adopts the 2024 Canadian Electrical Code Part 1 with Ontario amendments. About $243 for the hard copy, or $217 for the PDF license from CSA Group. The on-screen OESC excerpt provided during the exam covers most of what you'll need. Knowing the code well enough to find rules fast under time pressure is what separates pass from fail. Memorizing rules without practicing navigation is half a skill. Section 6. How to prep. STO doesn't publish a 309A specific prep guide. The closest content syllabus you'll get: the 309A Apprenticeship Training Standard, the 309A Trade Report, and the Red Seal Construction Electrician Occupational Analysis. All free. If a topic isn't in the training standard, it isn't on the exam.
Your most valuable resource? Your in-school binders. The exam tests what you were taught. Buy the 2024 OESC 28th edition. Tab it by section, flashcard the most cited rule numbers. The codebook is half the exam. 2 college courses are verified for current intake. George Brown runs Electrician 309A and 309C pre-exam. Fleming runs pre-C of Q exam for Electrical 309A. Phone the Continuing Education Registrar for fee and dates. Other Ontario colleges run pre-exam intermittently. Phone their Con Ed registrar directly. Orderline.com publishes the Construction and Maintenance Electrician 6th edition pre-exam workbook. 375 practice questions plus a 100-question practice exam. Caveat, based on the CEC 25th edition, 2021. Older than the current 2024 OESC 28th. Use it for question format practice. Cross-check every rule against the 28th. IBEW members, your local likely runs prep at no cost. Local 353 has 309A pre-exam in its training catalog. Where apprentices actually fail per prep instructors and apprentice forums. STO doesn't publish unit-level data, so take these as patterns. 1. OESC navigation under time pressure. Finding a rule in 30 seconds, not just knowing it. 2. 3-phase calculations. Voltage drop, motor FLA from nameplates versus code tables, transformer kVA. 3. Conductor sizing with D rating or non-standard ambient. Tables 2 and 4 are easy. The corrections aren't. 4. Demand factors and service calculations for unusual building types. Rules 8-200 and 8-210. 5. Bonding and grounding. Rule 10 across the board. What works? Drill OESC navigation. Timed full-length practice exams. Group study with peers. A one-day OESC code update through ESA or CSA. What doesn't? Cramming, memorizing sample answers, skipping weak units, studying on the wrong code edition. Time 1. 4 to 8 weeks at 10 to 20 hours a week.
Section 7. Exam Day. What to bring? Government-issued photo ID. Bring 2 pieces of ID just in case. Your printed authorization to test letter. A pen for the scratch paper they'll give you. What's provided at the center? Computer terminal with on-screen calculator. The center's calculator, not yours. On-screen OESC excerpts. Scratch paper. English and French dictionaries are available at every center. What you cannot bring inside. Your phone, which gets locked in a locker. Books. Notes. Prep workbooks. Smartwatch. Personal calculators of any kind. Any external code book. Anything you try to smuggle in gets confiscated at check-in. Don't try. Foreign language word-to-word dictionaries are permitted as accommodations, but they get inspected before and after the exam. No annotations, no marginalia, no inserts. If you need any accommodations, you must arrange them with STO before booking. The portal does not capture accommodations. Check-in process. You show photo ID, you hand over the printed authorization to test letter. You lock your phone and bag. Some centers do a basic pat-down or pocket check. You're assigned a workstation. On the screen, 1 question at a time, 4 multiple-choice answers, a flag for review button, which you should use freely, a running clock, and a question counter. Pacing. With about 100 questions over up to 4 hours, you have generous time per question. Don't rush. If a question is taking more than 3 minutes, flag it and move on. Revisit flagged questions at the end. Most apprentices who fail know the material. The issue is pacing. They get stuck on 3 or 4 questions and run the clock down before finishing. When you submit, the system gives you pass or fail on screen immediately. Detailed unit-level scoring follows by mail or email a few weeks later. If you fail, a mandatory 30-day wait before you can rebook. Your rewrite costs the full $150 plus HST. The first attempt fee waiver doesn't apply to rewrites. STO sends unit-level scoring with the fail letter so you know exactly what to drill. There's no public appeal process for individual question scoring. After 2 consecutive fails, the diminishing returns math says you should work with a college course or a private tutor before the next attempt. Full written guide at aecstack.com/guides/309A-electrician construction maintenance. Linked in the description below. Questions specific to your situation? Drop them in the comments. I read them. Next video in this series, 309C, electrician, domestic and rural. If you're 309C, that's the delta you need. Post C of Q business setup, master electrician, becoming an LEC, going independent.
That's a separate playlist coming up. That's the last mile to your 309A. Ready to start, run, and grow your construction business? Find the full written guide and permits, plus awards data on aecstack.com. Check out our next videos for more guidance.